Portions of the following program may have been pre-recorded.
The following programs, views, claims, or ideas may not reflect those of WSRR Radio or WSRRradio.com. Viewer discretion is advised.
And now, we take you behind enemy lines with Lucas DeRazio and Dom Ferro on WSRR Radio.
All Browns fans will go to heaven where football season's never ending. The leaves have changed, smell it in the air. Where every morning is a Sunday morning, the grill is firing and the drinks are pouring. All Browns fans will go to heaven and our Modell can go to hell.
Welcome to another dynamite episode of Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio, nationally local, meaning we play your local bands on a national stage, coast to coast. This is your Cleveland sports talk show from Pittsburgh. I'm Luke Strazio, joined as always by Dom Ferro. We are recording on May 14th at 9:08 p.m., a little late night virtual recording, just hours before, 13 hours before this airs on WSRR Radio. Thank you guys for joining us for your Friday morning, May 15th, here on WSRR Radio. Dom, how's your week been thus far? Are you getting geared up for the PGA Championships?
Honestly, I haven't really thought much about it. Just been watching a lot of baseball. Pirates have been looking really good. Won a couple series in a row. So I've been watching some baseball, been watching a little bit of hockey. Haven't been watching as much NBA as I'd like, but I'll definitely be tuning in this weekend for the PGA Championship. Yeah,
the PGA Championship is another one of those majors that you got to check into. That's one of the few that you got to watch if you're an average golf fan, or maybe even below average. The NBA playoffs, though. What's that? It's in Philly. That's right.
This year.
That's right, out in the eastern part of the state. This weekend we'll have a lot of interesting basketball that we can talk about a little bit later in this show. Cavs last night for me, 2 nights ago if you're listening to this on Friday, got their first road win of the playoffs in Detroit. We can talk about that a little bit later and how things are shaping up in the NBA playoffs. There's a big game tonight on Friday night back in Cleveland where Cleveland can punch their ticket to the Eastern Conference the Eastern Conference Finals. So we'll see what happens. James Harden seems to be back a little bit. We can talk about that later, like I said. But the big news on our minds today is the NFL schedule release. You know that we're ball guys. We're pigskin first guys. We're talking about the gridiron, even when we're watching the hardwood. And we saw some interesting matchups and schedules for this season. One big thing that I noticed, Dom, the Browns, based off of 2025 win percentage, the Browns have the easiest schedule in the NFL based on the teams that they're playing's last year win percentage, basically. So shapes up for, easy schedule, new head coach. Not to be overly optimistic, but there's some things that could go right in Cleveland this year on the gridiron. But Dom, what are you seeing in this schedule release that really intrigues you thus far?
Well, specifically for the Browns, I like to hear that they're getting a nice and easy schedule. I mean, looking at it, you got a couple tough ones right off the bat: Jaguars to Buccaneers, even Panthers. The one thing though that affects both of us, week 4, the Steelers will be traveling to Cleveland for Thursday night football. Personally, I'm not a fan of primetime divisional matchups happening this early in the season. I would have liked to see this more of like a week 12 to 15. I think this is too early for my liking. That's my main critique.
I always think that no divisional game should happen until like week 4. So I'm glad that at least the Browns didn't have the week 1 Bengals or Steelers game like I feel like they always get. I'm glad that at least it got to week 4. I don't mind them being on prime time. I mean, like I said, as long as it's week 4, at that point I feel like you kind of should know what your team is about. Obviously, it's a long season, but it's not like you're at the beginning of the year jitters still. I'm glad to see that the Browns have a primetime game this year. Last year did not have a single primetime game. That's their only primetime game as of right now, is that Thursday night game against the Steelers. And it's in Cleveland, which obviously Tomlin's gone. We talked about this a little bit last year, but Tomlin and the Steelers have not boded well in Cleveland in the last couple of years, and especially on Thursday nights.
Yeah, it's actually going to be interesting to see. We've talked about in the program, like, Mike Tomlin had so many, like, weird, like, streaks in NFL records. He's like, oh, he's the best. He never loses on Monday night in, when it's above a certain temperature. It's just always weird stuff. So it's going to be an interesting season to see if that's a Tomlin thing or if it's a Steelers thing. I think you'll see a lot of changes, whether it's better or worse. I'm not sure yet. But, yeah, I don't know.
Tomlin had a lot of those stats. You ever watch the movie Major League?
Yeah.
When they're talking, it covers the Indians in the 90s, and now it's escaping my name. Charlie Sheen's the pitcher. That's a great movie. I always loved in that movie because we talk about sports commentators a lot on this show. We're tapped into that a lot. I always loved that when the play-by-play would bring out the stats where it's like he's batting over 500 in games in September, or maybe not September. He's batting over 500 in games in July when he's playing a left-hander coming off of a road game, and it's over 65 degrees. So that bodes well for him. Tomlin had a lot of those stats where it would be like, well, on Thursday nights after a win, he plays like his teams always win or something,
And it would be like an insane streak, too. It'd be like his entire career. It'd be like,
yes,
he's won like 20 straight games, like doing this. Like, well, that's like every season. So yeah, he had like some witchcraft going on, I think. I forget what the original question was about. I got lost in Tomlin. What do we think about Tomlin being on television this year? We didn't talk about that. That was announced a few weeks ago, but he's going to be, I think, on NBC, like doing like pregame, halftime, postgame stuff.
I didn't see that, but I do think it's interesting. I think that he that to me, now of course we have seen some coaches go to broadcast and then come back, but to me at this point in his career, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's done. And now of course he could go on though, and like people always kind of just take guys going to TV as like, oh, okay, like that's his job now. It's like, no, you do have to perform and be good at that. Like we've seen guys go on to be analysts and whatever, and then they're just not good at it. And I think that there's a possibility that he goes and maybe he's not the personality and the on camera, presence that they want. And then he's, maybe this is the only year he does it or something like that. So I think depending on his success in that really will determine whether or not he ever gets another coaching job, because he could love it, be really good at it, the people embrace him, and then he's like, why would I go back to coaching? This is way better.
Yeah, that's a possibility, but I think like I was trying to think of another coach who went into like broadcasting, back coaching. The only guy I could think of is John Gruden.
I was going to say Gruden. That was who I was thinking.
If like, because he was really good at as a color commentator, I wonder if that played a part in him getting a job back. It's like the Raiders saw like, wow, this guy knows ball. We got to get him. He's a leader of men. Let's get this guy back.
I don't know if they could have used that as a reason to get him back into coaching. I feel
this
like
guy's got swagger.
I feel like more than anything, it was probably a thing that made him be like, I need to get back into coaching, because he liked what he was doing. But at some point there is the control freak in all of these coaches where they're like, no, like this is great. I know that this is a good job and this is stable and this is fun, but like something about me that I need to be competing and I want to win, and I think that Gruden definitely has that in him. And that was what brought him back into coaching.
I mean, Belichick, he was also doing a lot of like media stuff immediately after the Patriots. I feel like since he's taken over at North Carolina, that's fallen off. So like, I could see Tomlin getting back in coaching for sure. Like there's been guys to do it.
Maybe we'll see. A big back to the schedule release. Week 1, the Seahawks, the Super Bowl champions, playing the Patriots, going right back. Super Bowl rematch in Week 1 on the NFL season opener on September 9th. Drake May and the New England Patriots traveling to Seattle and Lumen Field, where I'm sure that's when Seattle will put up the banner and we'll get to see the rings and all that. But interesting game to start it off, especially with everything going on with Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini. The Patriots are having an interesting offseason because of that. Like, the huge story out of them is all around their coach and his off the field antics, if you can call them that.
I mean, there's more stuff that comes out like every single week, and each time it seems like it's worse. So like there is, I'd say, a decent chance that Mike Vrabel isn't the coach by week 1. Like if things continue to like come out and get worse, I wouldn't say there's like a great chance, but there's certainly a chance. Like it's not a good look. But and then also like you still don't have AJ Brown. You cut Stephon Diggs. Who'd they sign? Romeo Dobbs or something like that? Like
yeah.
I think we're gonna see the exact same game that we saw in the Super Bowl.
Really? You think the Seahawks are gonna run away with it? They don't have Kenneth Walker now.
Yeah, but they got Jadarian Price.
That's right.
Charbonnet probably won't be back by that point, but I mean, you got JSN, the reigning offensive player of the year. Like that team is significantly better. I think the defense will pick up exactly where they left off. This isn't a game that got me excited when I saw the schedule release.
No, not really. I mean, it does have the whole Super Bowl rematch around it, obviously, but I do agree. Like, I don't know, especially now with all the Mike Vrabel stuff, like, it'll be interesting to see how the Patriots are. What do you think Vrabel, like, what do you think the best PR move for Vrabel is here? Like, does he have to step away? Like, for Vrabel and the Patriots? Like, on another podcast, I heard someone be like, if they just get married, is that's kind of their best way to, I mean, in my opinion, if they get married and it's like, well, that was his true love all along, and then they live together for 30 years, I think that's kind of the best way out. That's the best end case scenario.
Well, the problem is that he's married and she's married as well.
I mean, it still doesn't make it okay because it's still like, all right, you screwed over your significant others, but at the same time,
as far as like the best PR plan though, like he's doing it. Like he hasn't commented on it at all. Like they're just hoping like if you ignore it for long enough that people are going to stop talking about it. And like the way these teams have control over the media, like they won't be able to ask him questions about that. So if they just keep quiet and nothing else comes out, I think eventually people are going to move on.
And especially nowadays, like with we see it in politics all the time. Like the news cycle is just so fast now where eventually, like if you just don't do anything about it, like eventually it's probably just going to blow over.
Yeah.
I think about it a lot with like, now of course this, it might not have been true. But whenever I think of like people who just don't address rumors and like, whatever, and then it ends up blown over. Like, do you remember when, that thing came out about Odell Beckham and that girl that he was like hooking up with, and that she like said this might have just been more of a Cleveland story because it was when he was with the Browns.
Gotcha.
There was this girl who went on a podcast and like said like, oh yeah, Odell Beckham was a freak. He was into like scat play and stuff like that. Which like, do you know what that is, right?
Not really. I don't know if I want to know. I don't think I want to know.
It's like sexual fetishing around excrement and stuff like that.
Okay. Oh, I think I do remember this
stuff.
Yeah, I think I do.
And I remember it coming out and me being like me and all my friends being like, "This is the biggest story of the year. Like, this is insane. Like, whatever." And he just didn't comment on it. Really, he made like an Instagram post where he like the caption was like vaguely something about like, poop or whatever. You like use the poop emoji, and like that was it. And then I was kind of like, it just went away. And now like, no, if you talk to someone about Odell Beckham Jr., it'll take 45 minutes before that comes up for the most part. I do feel like that sometimes the best reaction is just no reaction when something crazy comes out about you.
Yeah, for sure. That is that's usually what these guys do. And eventually, like, something bigger is going to come up. Like, there's going to be another coach or another player to do something even crazier. So, I wouldn't be surprised if by week 1, like, people aren't even talking about this at all.
Yeah, I do think, like you said, I think people are split on it because some people are like you said, they think that there's a high possibility that he's not even their coach by week 1. And then there are other people who I'm like me, and I'm like, I don't even think that this is going to be a story by week 1. Like, so many other things are just going to come up. Like, it's the NFL. Everyone wants to know everything about everything in the NFL. Like, there'll be other stories that, flood the news feed, and no one will care. Going back to this, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and it's going to be nonstop action in the NFL because we have so many international games that there's going to be so many Sundays where it's like 9 a.m. to midnight. So we won't have time to think about Mike Vrabel. We're going to be thinking about the league as a whole.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm fired up for it. These are the times in May where you start watching the old game films and stuff like that to get you back fired up for some ball. Now, there is a lot of other stuff to watch right now, but if you're a true football fanatic, there's never a wrong time to turn on a 2008 Broncos versus Dolphins game or something like that and get fired up on it. Back to these strength of schedules. The worst strength of schedule in 2026 is the Browns. The opponent's winning percentage in 2025 is 42.9%. The number one strength of schedule heading into 2026, the Chicago Bears and your guy Caleb Williams. Opponent's win percentage 55%. And I think that there's some very interesting games. One of the games that I have my eyes on for the Bears is on Thanksgiving Day. The first window for Thanksgiving Day is Bears versus Lions. Ben Johnson still has not beat Dan Campbell. He's going to have to try to do it on Thanksgiving. Now, that may be their second matchup of the year, so I'm not 100% sure if that'll be the first time that he'll have the chance to do it, but should be a really fun game. That whole week of football is going to be awesome. Thanksgiving week, the NFL has really crafted a spectacular schedule for us.
Yeah, they completely stole that slot from the NBA. It's kind of crazy because that was the NBA's day for like as long as I could remember. And then a few years ago, the NFL came in and said, sorry, I was thinking about Christmas.
I was going to say, they're not playing hoops during Thanksgiving. What are you talking about?
I was getting
But I do think Christmas is the same
pretty
thing.
Decent.
Christmas, I feel like NBA Christmas games are just like dead at this point. Like there was the last time a Christmas game was good was when LeBron and the Cavs played the Warriors in 2018, I think it was. Maybe it was 17. It might have been right after the 3-1 comeback. Absolutely spectacular game. Kyrie Irving hits a game-winning shot. I'll never forget it. I was in Florida. It was spectacular to watch. But I do think that Christmas now, like, you'd rather – maybe it's just, too, because of the way that the sports are constructed, but having a football game on and opening presents is a lot more conducive to the overall feel of the day than having a basketball game on and during Christmas festivities.
Yeah, I don't want to hear, like, feet squeaking against court.
Yeah.
During
that's
football,
a good point. I didn't even think
so much
about
more
that.
relaxing. But the biggest thing with the Christmas now, I think Netflix has like done a really good job with the presentation. They make the Christmas Day NFL games like feel like a bigger deal than they actually are. So I'm kind of excited for that. But I didn't mean to jump ahead of Thanksgiving. Getting back to that, I do think this is like the best slate of Thanksgiving games we've ever seen. Like not even considering the Thanksgiving Eve and the Black Friday games. Just the one on Thanksgiving Day, like you said, kicking off with Bears, Lions. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Then we got Eagles, Cowboys, classic rivalry. That should be a meaningful game in that division. And then finishing up with potentially the two best teams in the league, the Chiefs going into Buffalo to take on the Bills. A night game on NBC, a nice little Mike Tirico nightcap.
That's right. Any Bills-Chiefs game is like can't miss too, so that'll be spectacular. And then, like you said or touched on quickly, Wednesday night they're doing a Thanksgiving Eve game, and it's the Rams, who a lot of people again think could be one of, if not the best teams in the league, against the Packers, who also have were a playoff team last year. Those are two really good NFC teams, and then on Black Friday, like you touched on, your Steelers are playing against the Broncos. Before we started recording, you said that's a for sure win for the Steelers, which I think is an absolute wild thing to say, that beating the Broncos is an absolute sure thing. on Friday night.
I mean, it's that okay. First off, it's not Friday night. That's a big thing that I'm not happy about. It's a 3 p.m. game on Black Friday. So like, I got to revolve my entire Friday around this game, which I 100% will. But going back to why I think the Steelers.
Why would they not put it on Friday night?
That's a fantastic question. I wonder what's on TV that night. Like, there's got to be.
There can't be anything. Who's watching anything on Black Friday? I mean, I guess that's like, I don't know. Maybe it's after Thanksgiving. People are getting geared up for Christmas already.
I'm pretty sure there are like laws in place where the NFL can't do games on Friday up to a certain point because of high school football.
That is true. It was actually I actually wrote a paper on this at one point in college, but it was a trust busting thing, or like a anti-monopoly law, where it was like the NFL can't, in certain weeks, they can't play anything on Saturday and they can't play anything on Friday because it would take away from college football and high school football. But the fact that you brought that up does bring me to another good point. That week of Thanksgiving, the day after those Black Friday games, the Saturday is college football rivalry week. Ohio State's playing Michigan. You get all of your classic rivalries on that week. I think the Oregon Civil War might be that week. All the quintessential college football rivalry games are supposed to take place that week. So that's just going to be a spectacular week of football. Maybe the best week of football we've had in years, and maybe the best week of football we will ever have. And the other thing, too, is like there's the Monday game right before that. So you're going to have a Monday night game, Tuesday's off, Wednesday you get Rams-Packers, Thursday's Thanksgiving, Friday you get the Broncos and Steelers, Saturday's college football rivalry week, and then that Sunday there's a whole slate of games, and there's also a good primetime game that week. I think the Bucks play someone, but you'll be in football heaven on Thanksgiving week, and I'm excited for it.
All I know is the NHL and the NBA are in trouble those weeks, or that week, for ratings, because I don't know about you, but I'll be watching football nonstop.
I don't think the NBA or the NHL are playing in Thanksgiving, during Thanksgiving. So I think they'll be okay.
The NHL is.
Really?
When does the NBA season start?
When I have no clue. When do either of them start? I don't start watching.
Starts in like October.
Neither of them matter to me until after football season's over, which I think is kind of a good way to do it in a way, because it's like I don't care about half of the regular season games for either of those. It's just like, all right, once football's over, now the playoff race is starting to shape up in both of them. There's just 82 games. You're not going to watch all 82. You can skip the first 30.
NHL is late September. NBA is October. So they will be in trouble during that week.
Well, we're geared up for football. We're excited. We'll talk a little bit of NBA when we come back from this break. Don't touch that dial. Stick right here on WSRR Radio and listen to more Behind Enemy Lines after these messages.
The following State of the Union is brought to you by WSRR Radio in partnership with GenericClothes.com.
My fellow Americans, for weeks now, people have been asking me for the files. They want the truth. They want the names. They've said, show us the names. Well, today I'm going to do just that. These are the files. Page 1, we have it on good authority that was sending to. We know this because of his involvement with terrible guy, honestly. Of course, this means, unfortunately, and were also involved due to communications between and investigators believe may have known about as early as 2001, terrible year, which raises serious questions about and whether or not, and regrettably,
there's a time for details. Your clothing brand isn't it. Nobody cares about those details. Get to the point with GenericClothes.com.
Based out of Chicago, Synergy Music Studio is built for artists who care about the sound of their music. From recording, mixing, and mastering, to full production and live studio sessions, Synergy works hands-on to help artists turn ideas into finished professional releases. They support the Chicago scene, and they welcome new artists anytime. If you're serious about your sound, start at SynergyMusicStudio.com today.
playing the ball where it lies. Lucas and Dom are back on WSRR Radio.
Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio, brought to you, as always, by one of our favorite sponsors, GenericClothes.com. Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point at GenericClothes.com. Don't sell out to big brand clothing empires and their prices. Make a statement at their expense with GenericClothes.com. Dom, it is Thursday, May 14th at 9:40 p.m. when we're recording this on Wednesday, May 13th. The Cavaliers won their first road playoff game of the 2026 season. They were undefeated at home up to last night and were defeated on the road up to last night. Did not win a single road game until Game 5. That's right, it was Game 5? Yes. Game 5 against the Pistons here in the second round to take a 3-2 lead. James Harden scores 30 points, and the Cavs have their first lead in the series. It's going back to Cleveland. They're playing tonight, Friday night, as you guys are listening to this on Friday morning. Friday night in Cleveland, a chance to take the series and move on to play the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. You didn't catch any of this game, did you?
Did not watch this one.
Not a second of it. I watched the entire thing almost, actually. I was going to sit down and watch a very scary movie for this this movie club that we have going, and me and my buddies have, we make a pick and we got to watch a movie every 2 weeks, and someone picked a foreign film that's about home invasion and like torturing a family, and I was like, I do not want to watch this. No, it's called Funny Games.
Interesting. Lame, bad pick.
Never seen it. He himself, I haven't seen it yet, but the guy who picked it himself said, guys, I'm sorry for picking this. So it must be pretty bad.
Have you done Big Lebowski?
No, I wanted to pick a movie that was like Big Lebowski. I was actually, I hate to say it, but I was using AI to like help me try to find something that was kind of like that. Like I was like, give me something that's kind of the same, like LA chill, you never know what's gonna happen, fun vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me. You ever seen Midnight Run with De Niro?
I have not seen that one.
It's got Robert De Niro in it. It's a 1980s movie. It's fun. Like it's He's basically a bounty hunter. He has to go get this guy who like the mob wants, and he needs to take him from, I think it was California to New York. And so it seems like it's going to be pretty simple. He goes and he finds him. He goes to get on a plane, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm deathly afraid of flying, like I can't fly," and he starts freaking out, so they get kicked off the plane. So now they have to like drive across country, and all these different things happen. It's a whole series of events, but it's a good movie. You should watch it. You would like it. It's like a comedy. It's like an action comedy movie. So kind of like The Big Lebowski, which, The Big Lebowski, The Nice Guys. You ever seen that movie with Ryan Gosling?
No, but I've heard
that as well.
I've heard a lot of good things about that one.
That's a good one. You should watch that. That was another movie that I threw into ChatGPT, and I was like, give me something like The Big Lebowski, Nice Guys, something within the same vibe. And they gave me a Midnight Run.
And they cooked. They didn't lie to you this time.
I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good movie. The other movie club goers didn't give it the highest rating, but they didn't hate it. They were like, yeah, it's fun. I'd throw it on in the background. It was like a very typical 80s movie where there was a lot of shooting, but no one gets shot. There was a helicopter chase. It was it was fun though. I liked it.
That one sounds pretty good. Speaking of AI though, we didn't say it publicly. We didn't want to make this statement, but ChatGPT is on an 8-episode suspension after gaslighting us into thinking that Shane Battier went to Michigan. He's a Duke legend.
Absolutely,
we all knew it in our heart. And I think we even uttered it on this program. Like he had connections to Michigan. I mean, come on now. So
you said that, you were like, suspension. You were like, yeah, Shane Battier, Michigan. You even said it like questioning it. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. And then the next day I texted you and I was like, did ChatGPT really try to tell us that known Duke alumni Shane Battier went to Michigan?
I had to imagine, like, I thought I was hallucinating. That's what they say when like AI lies. They say the AI is hallucinating. I'm like, no, it's just like it's a robot.
It can't hallucinate. Yeah, what?
That's what it says. That's their excuse. Like, yeah, it gives wrong information a lot. I was like trying to get it to like help me like make this graphic, and like it wrote out the graphic. I was like, oh, let me see what it would look like if we actually made it into this. Like it gave the text, and part of it was like the number 13, and when it made the graphic, it came out and it had 35 on it. Like where did the 35 come from? I'm like, that was never in any of the conversation. So that boy was hallucinating. 8-episode suspension. I might be done with ChatGPT. I might be a Claude guy now.
I think maybe you should just be instead of AI, you should be an I guy. Just
pen and
normal
paper
intelligence. An HI, human
a book
intelligence.
Guy. I should be reading more books.
Yeah, you need to put your nose in a book.
More encyclopedias.
How about that?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, what if you just had, how sick would it be if you just had a stack of encyclopedias behind your desk and you were like, let me search that. And instead of going on your computer, you just turned around and pulled out the encyclopedia.
Went to like the letter E, went to like page 1000, found egg.
You're like, that would be a lot. I think it would slow our show down a lot. The pace of our show might slow down a lot. But like, if I was like, oh man, you ever think about the 97 Knicks team? Like, instead of you Googling them or asking ChatGPT, like you just turn around and you're like, let me find out the 97 Knicks and exactly what their margin of their winning margin was in that 97 season. Oh, John Starks actually shot 38% from three. Not bad in those years.
I mean, encyclopedias, like, they've always like blown my mind because like you can't put everything in a book. And like by the time that book is printed, like you're going to be missing so much stuff in it.
Yeah. And that's why there's like 40, there's 40 encyclopedias like for each, and there's different volumes because they re-release them and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think that's how it works.
I want to find like an encyclopedia from like 1960, see what they were like saying about stuff.
You know what? Another book that blew my mind that is of similar vein to an encyclopedia is an almanac. Like almanacs where people were like, yeah, like at the Farmer's Almanac, they were like, yeah, you can use this to like determine weather trends and like what days it's gonna rain on this year.
Yeah, I never.
Like, how's that? What?
And the only place I ever saw it was at like the grocery store, like right when you're checking out, they'd always have like the Farmer's Almanac. I'm like, who's buying that? Like, you're trying to see when to plant your crops, or
isn't it like also like I feel like it's like a year in review type thing, like where it like they put out an almanac every year, and it's like all the, or maybe there's like a sports almanac that's like something special.
Yeah, there's like
where it's
I'm pretty sure there's like separate
plot line
almanacs.
in Back to the Future, right, where Biff gets the sports almanacs, then he's betting on games where he already knows the outcome.
Oh, really? When I was a kid,
Back to the Future 2, I think.
When you were younger, did you have like the Scholastic Book Fair?
Yeah, of course.
My
parents never sent me with any money though, so I just had to watch all my friends be like, "Oh, look at these erasers I got."
I used to get the almanac like every year in elementary school.
Really?
I think it was the sports almanac or it was like almanac for kids, whatever one. But I was like weird into that type stuff.
Did you also get the Guinness Book of World Records?
Yeah, I got that. I got that. That
was always a good book to see.
A few years I got
that was always a fun where it was like if you were bored in like a library or something for whatever reason in school, I feel like there was times where like you just had to like, whatever pastime. You found the Guinness Book of World Records book and you're like, oh yeah, now I can burn 45 minutes with this.
For sure. Yeah, that was peak killing time. I think Ripley's Believe It or Not jumped the shark a bit.
Yeah.
Like they would be like, here's the person with the longest fingernails. It's like, I don't want to see that. That's a bit too much.
Well, they would have that stuff, and maybe I'm thinking of the Ripleys now, because I feel like that's actually funny you say that, because when I think of the Guinness Book of World Records, the first thing I think of is always like there would be an image of someone with really long finger or toenails.
It probably was in Guinness. I was trying to think of something crazy that I saw in Ripley, but I just remember Ripley's was like, all right, that's a little over the top.
I don't know why I always associate world records with finger and toenails. Like there's just like that image burned into my brain.
I think
that
of it
guy
like
with really long fingernails.
Those image, that's like a cursed image. I hate those ones. I'd always skip past that one. The one I think about, like when they take a picture of the tallest person in the world next to the shortest person.
I was gonna say that next. I was gonna say, oh my god, the meeting of the minds.
Like how'd they get them together? like from the corners of the world.
This is a generational link up. Yo, who was at Guinness who was just like, we gotta get the biggest guy and the smallest guy to stand next to each other. That shit would be a movie.
And like the tallest guy in the world, they're getting him from like the furthest place in the world. Like he's nowhere close to an airport. And then he's like so huge that it's gotta be tough to be driving a car and being in a plane.
No, that's why I feel like the smallest guy in the world always travels to the biggest guy. Because the smallest guy in the world, you can just put him as like a carry-on on the plane. Like that?
Might be able to do that.
Or you can just shoot him out of a cannon.
All the way from the U.S.
No, I feel like the smallest guy in the world was always in like India or like an Asian country.
I feel like the tallest was like from Turkey.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like that was always like an Eastern European.
Yeah.
Or like Northern European. It's like, oh, this Swedish man is 7'9". His jeans are size 80.
I remember
that was
like
always a measurement they'd give too.
I was really like fascinated with that tallest person, but I remember my mom was always like, it's like you would not want to be that tall. Like I thought it was cool, but
I was just about to say that. Like, what do you do now? Like that's the thing. Like,
I mean, I don't think you
people
live
are like, could you imagine being the tallest man in the world? And it's like, all right, now what?
I don't think you live a full life. Like if you're that big,
no,
if you're like 8
your
feet
knees
tall.
get destroyed. Your body. I feel like there's no way anyone who's over 8 feet ever lives past like 50.
How many people do you think have been over 8 feet?
I don't know. I mean, hey, look it up in the encyclopedia.
Let me pull out
out the almanac.
Let me pull out the H book and go to height or T for tallest. What would you even go for?
Yeah. Probably, you might have to go under W for world records. No,
according to historians and medical records, there are only about 10 to 20 verified cases
of people who are over 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
What's their average lifespan? It's got to be like 34.
Well, the tallest ever was Robert Wadlow from the United States. He reached 8 feet 11 inches before his death in 1940.
USA. We got the tallest ever. That actually shocks me.
Let me see how long Robert Wadlow lived for.
Wadlow, shout out
he only lived to
legend.
Be 22 years old. Like that's
exactly.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. He's 439 pounds.
Holy hell!
But he doesn't look like big, like rotund.
I mean, yeah, if you're 8'11", you don't have to be fat to be 400 and how many? 480?
440.
440. My God. What a freak.
From Alton, Illinois, a city near St. Louis, Missouri.
You know what, though? Back in the day, if you were 8 feet tall, or like even, I mean, in the 40s, if you were 7 feet tall, you could just join the circus as a freak and just make money doing that.
Unfortunately, I don't think those guys were getting paid very, very much.
Yeah, but I mean, they still got paid, not a lot, but
on this guy's Wikipedia page, it says he's also known as the Alton Giant and the Giant of Illinois. Like that. I don't know how much money he was making.
I thought that was Abe Lincoln. Thought Abe Lincoln was the Giant of Illinois.
It's Honest Abe. There's a picture of him when he was 9 years old next to a 10-year-old neighbor, and the 10-year-old neighbor is up to his hip.
Ooh. Get height mogged.
This guy was massive.
He probably had, isn't there a disease like elephantitis or something like that where you're just massive? He probably had that.
Maybe. It says it was like due to a hypertrophy of his pituitary gland, which results in abnormal high level of human growth hormone.
Yeah, he was just pumping out HGH.
Also what LeBron takes, potentially. Nah. Allegedly.
Bronzo Natural. So, well, going from the Giant of Alton, right? Alton? Is that what you said?
The Alton Giant, or the Giant of Illinois.
Going from the Alton Giant to the San Antonio Giant, Wemby got ejected this past week in the playoffs. Did you get to see that? He got
I did see
flagrant 2 for just throwing an elbow right into Naz Reid's throat. It was kind of hard, honestly.
And he didn't even know like what a flagrant 2 was. He's like, so am I out? Did you see that clip?
Yeah.
He's like asking his teammate, am I actually kicked out of this game? That was kind of crazy to see.
Yeah, well, they lost him, and honestly, I was surprised. The thing about that game, that like they still lost it, obviously, because it's going to be tough to adjust and play without your generational talent. But the fact that they put up a very good fight in that game without Wemby, and it was in Minnesota. That series right now is at 3-2. The Timberwolves did win that game. Then it went back to San Antonio, excuse me, and the Spurs won that one. So it's at 3-2. Actually, on Friday night, when you guys are listening to this on Friday morning, but Friday night, so tonight, the Spurs do play the Timberwolves 9:30. It'll be in Minnesota. Spurs can go and move on against the Thunder to play against the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. But the Spurs, like I said, the fact that they played so close and actually did almost beat Minnesota in that game gave me a lot of hope for them to beat the Thunder, because I think that people have talked about how deep they are, and like there's some of the names on there that I don't really know as well, but those guys stepped up and played really well. And really gave them a shot. So I think that they maybe can match up with the Thunder. They're not going to be as deep, because no one's going to be as deep as the Thunder. But there's at least some hope there.
Well, I think the problem with like all of these teams that are still playing is that the Thunder and the Knicks are both going to be very well rested by the time these games come around, and these series could be dragged out, another like 4 days. So. The more this goes on for this team, the worse it is for them in the next round. So if the Cavaliers can get it done tonight, or if the Spurs can get it done tonight, that's the best thing for these teams.
Yeah, definitely. They're gonna have to reduce the rest for those teams. The Thunder sweep the Lakers. Unfortunately, our glorious king is heading to Cancun now. A lot of talk about. That's right. I was going to say there's a lot of talk about where he's going to end up next year, and if he'll return and what's going to happen. There's a lot of talk about him going to the Thunder, or excuse me, well, not the Thunder. There is some talk though. I was actually listening to a podcast, a Barstool podcast, with your boy Roan Dom, and he was like, he should just go to the Thunder and just win 2 more rings. Like they'll find a role for him because he's LeBron. They're obviously gonna be in the finals race the next couple of years. Like, they're a young team that's really, really good. Like, if he really just wanted to do fully just ring chase, he could, and I think that people would almost not give him a pass for it, but like be somewhat okay with it.
Say again?
Like, if he just you just zone out there or what?
I saw something that distracted me.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I'm glad.
Sorry.
Glad I was.
I'm sorry.
Glad I was putting out such riveting conversation there that you zoned out.
You said if he goes to the
LeBron,
Thunder, yeah, he could win two championships. But like, how do you pay for that? Like,
yeah, well, I mean, he could. What if he just took a league minimum?
I mean, I think that'd be a bad look for LeBron, don't you think?
He's not playing basketball to make money anymore. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but like, what about Bronny?
Oh, yeah, Bronny would have to come with him.
I mean, Bronny, I think, is the big part. Why have people been like throwing around the Wizards though? Like, I saw him in a jersey swap with the Wizards. I'm like, he loses all his aura when he's in that thing. Like,
yeah,
no one can look good in a Wizards jersey.
People are talking about the Wizards like they could be pretty good if they have the number 1 pick now. They got Trae Young, they got AD. They've got some interesting people. They can get AJ Atabanza, I think, is the guy who's going to be the number 1 overall pick that people are pretty sure about. I mean, I think people are already projecting them to be a playoff team next year. They also have Alex Sarr, the French center. I don't know. People have the big conspiracy in the NBA actually is that the NBA is pushing for the Wizards to be good. Like, over the last however many years, like, they've really, really pushed and tried to make like DC like a hot spot for basketball. And it just hasn't worked out because they haven't been great. Like, they had John Wall, and that was kind of like the hottest thing they had for a long time. But like, different stuff has happened. I don't know. They had Russell Westbrook in there, but yeah. There was a big conspiracy on NBA TikTok that the NBA basically rigged the draft lottery so that the Wizards would get the number 1 overall pick.
Well, it does seem possible that they could do that. I don't know how much I believe the NBA lottery, but I don't know. Like, would that be good for the league if the Wizards were good again? I don't know.
I don't know. I think it would be best for the league if the Wizards went back to the blue and gold look that they had when Gilbert Arenas was there. Because I just can't really get behind their current look, the red, white, and blue, where it's like kind of that Bullets uni. I didn't hate it at first, but now the more I see it, I dislike it.
The logo's not very good. I mean, I don't.
The logo's really boring. It's uninspiring. Uninspiring, not a word that you can use to describe Behind Enemy Lines. So stick with us through the break to bring you our final shortened segment right here on your Friday morning. Stick with us on WSRR Radio.
Independent music has always been about doing things your own way, not cutting corners, not chasing trends, and definitely not handing everything off to someone who doesn't care about the end result. That's where Hellbender Vinyl comes in. Hellbender Vinyl is Pittsburgh's first and only custom vinyl record pressing plant trusted by artists across the country. They work hands-on with independent musicians to make sure each release sounds right and feels right start to finish. Every project includes 5 free test presses, so quality isn't a guessing game, it's built right into the process. So, if you're serious about your music and how it's released, don't settle for disposable formats. Press it with Hellbender Vinyl. Hellbent on quality, hellbent on service, hellbendervinyl.com.
Calling it like they see it. Lucas and Dom are back on WSRR Radio.
Welcome back for our final segment right here on Behind Enemy Lines on WSRR Radio, brought to you by Hellbender Vinyl. Hellbender is Pittsburgh's first and only custom vinyl record pressing plant, one of America's most trusted record pressing plants. Perfect for local and independent artists, just like the ones we play here on WSRR Radio, who want to take their album release to the next level. Don't settle for a bunch of ones and zeros floating around the internet. Have a physical album release with Hellbender Vinyl. Hellbent on quality, hellbent on service. hellbendervinyl.com. Dom, we just very quickly touched on the Cavs Game 5, but James Harden scored 30 points. Donovan Mitchell, honestly, didn't look great in the second half. In Game 4, I don't know if you saw this, but he had 4 points at halftime, Donovan Mitchell did. Came out in the second half, scored 39 in the second half alone in a huge Game 4 win. He rolled into it a little bit better in Game 5 and played well, but then down the stretch in the third and fourth quarter, kind of disappeared a little bit. Harden is really showing the more and more that this team, I don't want to say revolves around him, but it kind of goes as he does, where it's like if he scores, 19 to 30 points a night, it goes a really, really long way, because I think that they're defensively, they've got really good bigs on the inside with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. But sometimes, like in the NBA and with some of the teams that they're playing and just the way that it's worked out, it just seems like you kind of just have to outscore teams. Now, in this game against the Pistons in Game 5, I will say, down the stretch, they played spectacular defense. They were down 9 with 2.5 minutes left to go. And I don't know if the Pistons scored the rest of regulation, but Harden put in some serious buckets. Evan Mobley's looked more and more comfortable as this series has gone along. He looked really confident. At one point, he just fully stepped. I think it was when they were down 5. He stepped into a 3 and just no hesitation shot it with a lot of time left on the shot clock. And at first I kind of was like, I don't know, but he drained it. And of course, anytime you make a shot, I'm going to like it a lot more. But the way that he's stepping up on the offensive side also kind of like flows into his defense a lot. It's looked really good. And I think that they're going to have to play the Knicks if they do win this game. Of course, I don't want to get ahead of myself. They still have to win, Game 6 here against the Pistons or Game 7 to get to the Knicks. And like you said, they're going to be really well rested. But if they can play as well defensively for the entire 48 minutes like they did in the last 5 minutes of this game, I think they do have a chance with beating the Knicks. Now, I don't know if they can take it all the way to the finals and beat the Thunder, but or the Spurs. But I really liked what I saw from them in Game 5. And I think that the league's sleeping on the Cavs a little bit. Just a little bit. Now, I know that the people called the Pistons fraudulent, like they're a fraudulent 1 seed. They're not the best 1 seed, but I think the Cavs have a little more than people are giving them credit for.
No, I agree. And I do think like James Harden is the X factor. And like people have complained that he doesn't show up in the playoffs, but like you said in the last game, he was there. Probably like the best top performer on the Cavs that night. And I got to say, like, I think he's a guy who gets more inspired, like, the further they make it. Like, if he's in the next round, like, I think he's going to step it up a notch for sure. I think you're going to see him putting up some serious numbers. And the other thing about Harden, he gets a knock on for his defense. Game 5, he had 3 blocks and a steal. I mean, that's as much as you can ask for out of that guy.
I was going to say, as much of a defensive liability as everyone calls him, down the stretch in this game, like Karis LeVert was cooking for the Pistons all game long. Really, the last 2 or 3 games, he's been playing amazing for the Pistons. Former Cav, he's got a chip on his shoulder playing against them. But Harden fully locked him up at the end of this game on a couple of huge possessions at the end of regulation to send it to OT. And, I mean, I loved what I saw. It seems like which really defense in basketball is fully an effort thing, but like for Harden, it is fully an effort thing. Like he has the skills, he has the athleticism, he's smart and cagey enough to do it and play good defense. It's just that at his age, he's not going to do it for 48 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be too much to ask for at his age. So you're going to need to have guys step up. But for him to do it down a stretch like that, it is good to see.
I don't know if you watch this team, especially when they're at home and on the road, it is night and day. They're like 2 different teams. Like the aggressiveness and the bipolar of how aggressive they are from being at home and on the road. Like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley look soft as cottonelle when they're on the road and down low against Jalen Duren. And when they're at home, they look like the 2 baddest MFs in the building. They did turn it on a little bit more, like I said, here in Game 5. And I think that their physicality, like if they can keep that up, again, now doing it for an entire game and for an entire series is tough. But like you look forward to, if they do go play the Knicks, like they're going to be playing against, Karl Anthony Towns, who, people say things about, how aggressive and physical he is maybe, or lack thereof, but they're really going to have to keep that up because he's obviously very, very skilled big, if not, one of the most skilled in the league.
Well, they got to get there first tonight. Cavs -4.5, over under 210.5. I love the over, and go Cavs, go baby.
210.5 is the game line.
Over under 210.5.
Yeah, that might. I don't know.
I like the over a lot.
I don't know. It was about at the end of regulation. It was 103 last game, and the further into a series, I feel like defensively you pick up the effort a little bit more. I might have to go with the under on that. Not to. I like not to say that you're wrong, but
I just think that Cunningham in a elimination game potentially for the Pistons, I think he's going to put up 40 points. I think Donovan Mitchell, I think Harden, they might put up 30 points each. So I think you're going to see some action tonight.
Harden might get up 20-some shots. The question is, which Harden are we going to get? Is he going to make any of those shots? He could shoot 20% from the field, and he could shoot 50% from the field. Like it's been very up and down, very bipolar for him, but it should be fun to watch tonight. Cavs, Pistons, Spurs, Timberwolves. Let us know who you think's going to win. Comment on the WSR Instagram page with your guys' predictions for tonight. Text into the hotline, 216-859-8699. Thank you guys for listening once again to Behind Enemy Lines. Join us next week where Dom's going to do the show pantless. He did do the show shirtless tonight, but we just didn't even talk about it like I said we were going to do. So next week he's going to do it no pants, no socks either. We're going to get wild. Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSR. Thank you all for listening and have a spectacular weekend.
Peace.
preceding program was a sponsored production. The views, claims, and ideas expressed may not represent those of WSRR Radio.